Okay, getting the first pick. Oh, get 3, Pyro, get 3 with the
Void Kid putting on a clinic. Whole team's down. Oh!
Experience tranquility.
Good evening, Overwatch fans. Welcome to the Harmony Aurum finals of the Overwatch Tranquility Tournament. Tonight, we will see if the underdog Doodles can make a miracle run to the grand finals, or if the defending champions and second seed Modify can stop them in their tracks, hoping to make a back-to-back championship run. I'm Shamanzi on the play-by-play tonight, joined by Needle on analysis and Booth on production. What are you excited for in tonight's match, Needle?
Well, I'm excited to see Doodles again, Shamanzi. I casted Doodles versus Royals back in Stage 2, I guess that was around a month ago now, and it was a really good match. I casted it with Booth, and it was a really, really enjoyable and close match to watch, and I think Doodles kind of went under the radar of a lot of people, but then they beat Void. I'm not necessarily sure if that was an upset or not, but I mean, it is by seeding. Void was 4 seed, Doodles are 5th seed, and then Doodles beat the number 1 seed in Harmony Aurum, Royals, and now they have to face the defending champions Modify, so it's definitely a tough road for Doodles, but they've persevered so far.
It's definitely been a tough path for Doodles, and they have impressed everyone. I can say that for a fact. Beating the number 4 seed and the number 1 seed, and now Modify. And looking at Modify, they look so strong this season. Stage 1, Stage 2, and in their 2 playoff matches, where they beat Paradise and Phantasmal. And looking at Modify's roster, they've got 3 people returning from the championship roster. You've got Instante, you got Bard, and you got Whitman, all of which got nominated and chosen for All-Stars this season. So the roster is extremely formidable, and Doodles are really, really going to have to step up their game, even after they just beat the number 1 seed.
Oh yeah, for sure. Modify definitely going to be a very difficult task for Doodles. You know, they are at the disadvantage, Modify, like you said, the defending champions, but the first map is going to be Modify's pick, and they decide to go to Ilios. So this is going to be, I think this is going to be pretty interesting. From when I saw Doodles a little while back, they seem to play a lot of Reinhardt, a lot of Junkrat. I don't necessarily think that plays into their hands here on Ilios. A far-dominated map overall, and we all know Bard. Bard's going to play the far when he can, Jim.
Yeah, Bard, a player well known for his far play, has expanded his hero pool, self-claimed, but I mean, this season we've seen him flex to a lot of heroes, you know, Tracer, Reaper, etc. But that Pharah is a signature hero of Bard's, and Ilios is one of the best Pharah maps. You've got 3 super solid Pharah maps here, and I think Modify is going to look to use that to their advantage. But they are going to be rolling out on the Reaper McCree, the Rush comp, both teams choosing that comp.
Yeah, I am a fan of the Rush on Ilios Lighthouse. I think it's pretty strong. McCree and Reaper both going to fare really well in these close-range brawl, but we can see Modify rotating towards the point first. I don't like this, Jim.
Yeah, Modify is going to be taking this defensive position on point, choosing not to speed into the other team, and Stante's shield's going to go down super early. He's going to get melted pretty fast, but he is going to stay alive. Lane and game goes down, Bard with a really nice pick, and with no main tank, Doodles do not have pretty much any hope of taking this point back, as Modify is going to solidify themselves and cap.
Yeah, really good kill. I'm hoping that Modify pushes up here, gets a little bit more ult charge, and it looks like they're heading towards the first choke now. Jofus almost has his Coalescence online. That's going to be have a huge impact in this next fight, Jim.
Yeah, that early Coalescence is absolutely huge. Blane in game goes down again. 2 early picks on the Doodles main tank just makes it so Modify can roll through the remaining 5 members of Doodles, get that ult charge, and just continue snowballing and getting percentage on this point.
Yeah, really good target focus from Modify, as a lot of their ultimates are getting close to being online now. Jophus using that Coalescence last fight, but if Doodles decide to go to the high ground here, they have the high noon for matchup Bingsu. This could have some potential here. Super Polar Burr is on the Diva though, and he might just eat that thing up.
The high noon is going to come out here, gonna force Modify back to point. Nothing yet for Matcha Bingu, but actually does pick off Beagle. That's one down for Modify, and Stante with the triple shatter gets 3 kills. Almost picks up a 4th. A beautiful shatter from Instante. They're winning the fight pretty much single-handedly for Modify.
It's just a massive shatter. Instante does not care about the numbers. He does not care that he is down a player. That shatter alone won Modify that fight. That's absolutely massive, and puts Modify's ult economy in a really good spot because they have almost 5 ultimates online. And now Doodles, they're making a swap there. Oh, sorry, they've then made the swap onto Junkrat, and he almost has the Riptire up. This could be big for Doodles.
Yeah, this Riptire is going to be Doodles' chance to win the fight here. The beat goes out from Whitman. Keeps Modify up. The Reaper ult from Bard doesn't quite catch anyone, but Heagle with a double. High Noon, Blue Blitz 2 kills of his own in return. Gets knocked off the map by Whitman, and now it's just a 2v2 on point. Lucian and Reinhardt alive for the side of Doodles. Blaine and game falls extremely low. Almost has the Earth Shatter online. As an option, pins Whitman, a huge pin. Possibly fight saving there. Super Polar Bear does take him down though, and now it's just the Doodle supports here stalling on point as Super Polar Bear is going to get demexed.
This fight going very back and forth, but Dry Farm has the Graviton Surge and he launches it in now, but he has 0 energy and there's not much follow-up. But Jophus does get taken down. Kills now going on the side of Doodles. It appears they will flip the point here. A little bit more stall from Modify, but their stall's all but over here, Chim.
Yeah, really nice fight there from Doodles. They brought it back. Both teams using so many ults there, but honestly, it looks good for Modify. Doodles doesn't have a lot. Modify's at 99%. All they need to do is stack ults, and they can get this point back. All they need to do is win a fight.
Yeah, definitely. Blading Game has the Shatter, though. If Doodles could win a fight with this Shatter, they have a chance to build up some ultimates for the next one.
Again, Stante almost with that Shatter of his own. Blading Game is going to want revenge for that huge Shatter Instante just got. Modify slowly pushing up here main. They are going to go ahead and speed onto the point. Instante with a charge on a point, and Super Polar Bear gets pinned by Blading Game. He falls extremely low. Bard's going to be able to finish him off as Modify's got a huge advantage here. There's no shield. 3 more picks from Modify, and Instante's got this Earth Shatter up online. Should he choose to use it? He does use the Earth Shatter on the Reaper. The Reaper does fall, and Modify is looking to cap this point and take Ilios Lighthouse 100-40.
Yeah, that was a really good job by Modify in that last fight, punishing the over-aggression there of Blading Game, trying to pin in, taking advantage of the fact that Instante pinned into his team, but it didn't work out too well for him there. Really good showing from Modify on that first point. Decisive with the McCree Reaper. The engages were so fast, the target focus was really good, but now we get to see it. Bard is on the Pharah for Ilios Welchim. I think it's going to be a treat.
And just a quick little shout out to Ride Coast. Thank you so much for the 10 gifted subs. Very, very much appreciated. Appreciate all the support. And yeah, looking at the Pharah here, Well is probably one of the best farm maps in the game. You see it played so much, and I think it's going to do a lot here versus the composition that Doodles are running.
Yeah, the Doodles comp is pretty creative, I'd say, Chim. They have a few different tools to deal with the Pharah. They have a Ball who can poke him out a bit. They have Mag Soul on the Batiste. They have a McCree and a Moira, so Bard is I think he's gonna run into some trouble here against the composition that Doodles is running.
Yeah, Bard taking an aggressive angle straight off the beginning, and Doodles are playing very passive here. They're playing in one big clump. They're letting their Ball pretty much do whatever he wants. Nice pick there for Matcha Bingsu, taking down Bard, putting his team up 6v5 in this fight. Whitman's not going to be able to res that death from Bard there, as Super Polar Bear almost gets booped in. A nice boop from Blading Game. Jophus goes down, and that's 2 players down for Modified. They're going to want to reset in this fight.
Yeah, I'm really loving the aggression from Doodles. They kill Bard early, and they know they can go in really hard off that as they continue to head towards Modified spawn. Almost far there for Blading Game, getting away on 8 HP. But the ultimates, they're stacking up in favor of Doodles. They almost have the Minefield, the Window, and the High Noon online. There are a few ultimates that are getting close for Modify, but Doodles, they have the tools to maintain the point here.
Yeah, this Valkyrie could be absolutely huge for the side of Modify. Could be the thing that they just need to push into this point and finally cap. But putting all the pressure onto the front line allows Bard to get such an aggressive angle here. Whitman now has a Valkyrie available, the High Noon online as well. Maxwell with the Baptiste Amplification Matrix takes Bard down extremely low. Super Polar Bird gets taken off the map by Blaine and Game. Blues with a nice pick on the Bard. And Sante falls extremely low, but Modified manages to capture the point. They are looking to lose this fight, but it is going to tick up in their favor.
Yeah, despite losing the fight, they did cap the point like you mentioned, but at the same time, now Bard is forced to swap mid-control round, and mid-control round swaps are kind of unfortunate, Chim, because they really start to put the ultimate economy even more in favor of the side of Doodles here. They have almost 5 ultimates online, and with all the swaps that Modified just had to make, they have to make a play with a High Noon, a Diva Bomb, and a Shatter. So it's going to be a bit difficult for them here, but High Noon could be massive to the composition that Doodles is running.
Yeah, if Instante can manage to get up there into the Doodles backline, he can get a big shatter off without any shield available, as long as he doesn't get blocked by a Zarya bubble or anything. But the early High Noon comes out from Matcha Bings, who almost catches Joffis, but he does manage to get around that corner. The minefield now available for Blaine and Game, does not choose to use it. Blue Bits takes down Bard. That's another advantage here for Doodles. The brief roll comes out from Blue Bits, does get stunned, a really nice stun from Eagle. The mines come out as well just to secure the fight. Joffis goes down to the mines. Super Polar Bird is demexed from the Coalescence on the side of Doodles, and a nice dagger here is gonna put Doodles in a really good spot here in the last fight.
Oh yeah, for sure. The only ultimate left online for Modify was Super Polar Bird's Diva Bomb, but with him being staggered there, it appears that Modify will have to go in with a last-ditch attempt onto the point, while Dry Farm has a Graviton Surge, which could just wrap things up really fast here.
Yeah, Dry Farm, even though he's on low charge here, could get so much value from this Graviton Surge. Does catch 2, the bomb comes out, takes him out actually. Now an even 5v5 on point. Bard takes down the counter Reaper. Amplification Matrix comes out from the Baptiste of Royals, trying to turn the fight there. Bard goes down, and now it's just an even brawl on point. Blaine and Game trying to stall out the point here, almost falls into the pit. Doodles now being forced back. Blaine and Game is going to fall to Eagle. Modify will have another chance.
Yeah, from the brinks of defeat on the second point here, Modified pulled back with a nice bomb from Super Polar Bird, taking out Dry Farm. There wasn't much follow-up into his grab after he fell. But Matcha Bingsu has another High Noon online here for this next fight. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough for Doodles here. They might need to take a little while, get some more of their ultimates back before they try to make a major push on this next point. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, High Noon's gonna come out from Matcha Bingsu just to make a little bit of space for his team. Doesn't catch anything, a really nice immortality field from Joffis, and the amplification matrix comes out as well. Dry Farm's gonna go down to Bard early, and this fight is not looking good for Doodles. Hugo does use the High Noon to clean up the fight. Blaine and Game goes down, and now there's no tanks available for Doodles in this fight. They are going to go ahead and back up the Reaper.
Yeah, that's a nice kill there for Matcha Bingsu, but I'm kind of wishing that we saw some swaps out of Doodles after that last fight, Jim, because their composition worked really effectively when Bard was on Pharah, but after he made that switch to the Reaper, and Whitman went onto the Lucio, Jophis onto the Baptiste, the composition for Doodles is, I think, a bit of a disadvantage here now.
And the minefield goes out from Blaine and Game. It's very big. The immortality field is forced out, and Joffis is going to go down to the Moira Orb from Bagel Friend, but it's Dante with a Shatter. Takes down 2, but he's not going to be able to finish off any of the picks. Bard's Reaper roll is the last saving grace that Modified does not find anything, and Doodles with so many picks on the point are going to be able to turn this in their favor and most likely capture this.
Yeah, Doodles proving me a bit wrong there, going in really hard in that fight, and it appears that nobody from Modified is going to be able to touch. So a really good fighting back there from Doodles, taking the second point after losing the first one in a pretty dominant manner for Modified. Now Doodles barely eking out the second point. Even with Bard starting on Pharah, you know, his at least that's the hero that I know him most for, back from Season 3 of Harmony Tier. That was a year ago, to be completely fair to him. But now we head on to the third point, and I doubt that Modify is going to go for that Pharah strategy again. It seems that Doodles are looking to play the same composition here. I'm not sure how well they're going to fare when Modify does not have to make any switches. And Modify is going to be starting on Brigitte. I'm a pretty big fan of Brigitte right now, Chim. I think she's really strong, especially with the extra 25 health. I think that she could be an absolute menace here in this Harmony Tier match.
Yeah, Modify on this Brawl composition can be so deadly, especially to Blaine and Game. If Blaine and Game rolls in, gets stunned by Brigitte, he can probably get melted if Modify's target focus is good enough. But Eagle here choosing to be on the Ashe is a very interesting choice. Ilios Ruins is a very long sightline map, so I can get a lot of value into what the Doodles are running. Blaine Game with a nice power drive into Modify. Gonna allow his team to take a little bit of space, but Modify pushing up with so much high damage at close range. Doodles are not going to be able to really push in aggressively for a lot of point presence here, and it's going to really bite them back. as Modify does flip the point in their favor, and Cap get 2 picks early in the fight.
Yeah, it's so hard for Doodles to have that point contest, like you mentioned, and now we can see the brawl continuing for Modify, going all the way almost up to that Mega Pack there on the that's right outside of Doodles' spawn. But Doodles, despite losing that first fight, they are nearing their amplification matrix. That could be a decent tool for them to get back in here, but it's so hard for Doodles to have like enough burst damage to get through what Modify are running. They have a Brigida, they have the Immortality field from Jophus. It's going to be a very difficult task for Doodles to win this, but they did switch over to the Reinhardt. I think that's a good pick.
The early Bob comes out from Hegel, and that's going to do a lot of damage on the backline of Doodles. 2 picks already for Modify. They're going to be able to push aggressively, get these stagger kills. 2 nice kills from Hegel there. The Bob absolutely huge in that fight, and Modify is going to be able to continue ticking this point up in their favor.
Yeah, and that's a pretty optimal fight there for Modify. They still have their Graviton Surge and their Shatter online. They're nearing the Rally, which is a really, really strong ultimate. They don't have a defensive ultimate for Dry Farm's Grab that's almost online, but Rally can negate a lot of that damage. Armor's recently buffed pretty strong, but there are some tools for Doodles to get back into this. They have the High Noon. That could be really good with no Diva on the side of Modify.
Yeah, Bard's Reaper Wraith is forced out early. He's going to have to go back on his backline. Laning game, though, a huge shatter from Instante catches 4. Immortality field forced out. Instante is unfortunately going to go down. The Graviton Surge, though, catches 4. There's a nice follow-up Death Blossom from Bard. Whitman picking up 3 big final blows of his own. And Doodles are going to have to rush to even be able to touch this objective. Macha Binks is switching onto the Tracer. Bagel friend to the Lucio. The tanks are going to stay because they're almost to their ultimates, but I don't even know if Doodles can touch this point here.
I believe they just might be able to. It appears that Bagel friend is touched, but this is going to be a very difficult ask for Doodles to win this fight. There are already 2 picks on the side of Modify.
Yeah, no DPS for Doodles is going to make this exponentially harder. The Amplification Matrix comes out. A nice pin, though. Instante may go down, but Blended Game does get punished for that. Bagel Friend goes down as well. And just Dry Farm on the point for Doodles, trying to make this dream last. Machu Bingsu makes a last-second touch, but Modify are going to take Ilios 2-1 in a fairly dominant fashion. A really, really nice showing from Modify there, but Doodles showing that they're definitely going to put up a fight this series.
Yeah, I definitely think Doodles can put up a fight, but what I saw on that last point from Modify really impressed me, Chim. Especially that second to last fight when they were down. I believe Doodles were not Doodles. I believe Modify were down their Reinhardt, but they pulled the fight back with their Graviton Surge and their Death Blossom. Really, really good plays by Modify on both of the points that they've won, and even decent plays on the point of control that they lost there. Really, really good showing from the defending champions. I think it's going to be tough for Doodles going forward, but that was Modify's map pick. Now Doodles get to pick the next map as we're heading over to Assault. They have not picked yet, but what do you think is going to be the best pick that they could have, the Doodles here, Jim?
That's a good question. The Doodles are pretty much well known for their Junkrat, and I feel like they would succeed most in a map that favors Junkrat. So, for example, like Anubis is a very well-known map for Junkrat. Even Hanamura would be a good choice, but I think Anubis or Hanamura definitely a safe choice for Doodles here versus what Modify is running. You can do so much spam damage on those 2 maps. Junkrat just excels there, and if that's what Doodles is hoping to play and hoping to win with, then I think that's what they're going to have to choose. What do you think, Needle?
Yeah, I actually agree. Doodles, when they were featured, when I casted it a few weeks back, Doodles, I believe they did pick Anubis as map 2 against the Royals. They did lose that map, but they looked, I believe they lost it at least. They looked really strong on it though. But we do head into Hanamura here, no Anubis, and you were talking about how Hanamura, it still can favor the Junkrat, and I have to agree. I think Junkrat can be effective in countering symmetric teleport strategies, and holding on attack it's not bad either. Honestly, I think the Junkrat could be pretty decent, even with the Symmetra, where you have the spam damage. It makes it tough for the enemy team to even come on to point after you teleport there. But I'm not entirely sure what Doodles are going to be playing. I believe it was Blue Blitz was their very strong Junkrat when they casted their last match. And we're going to see Doodles on the attack first here. Compositions will be picked soon. I'm expecting to see a more Reinhardt. We saw that last map, and that appears what we're going to be seeing so far, Chim. What do you think of these comps?
So on the modified defense here, you've got super high damage from the Ashe with the Mercy Pocket. You got Baptiste, who also applies a ton of damage, especially with that Baptiste buff that was just released a couple days ago. The Mei as well is going to help a lot with that front line. The Reinhardt's going to struggle a little because, you know, Modify wants to play this a little more pokey. They don't want to really brawl or speed into the other team. Obviously, they don't know about Lucio, but that Mei's a really good nice pick here. It's going to help Instante. It's going to take basically a load off of him. Bard's going to act as a third tank almost. And I think this Modify comp is looking really good into what Doodles is running, as long as Modify doesn't play too aggressive.
Yeah, I really agree, but Doodles, they do have some key tools to burst the walls of Bard. They have a Reaper and a Junkrat. Those walls might not end up getting too much value if the focus on the pillars is good from Doodles.
Ooh. Yeah, and a nice pick from Eagle, though. Blueblitz's gonna be on super early, and a nice dynamite to follow up with. Already 40 to that Bob. That's ridiculous. Doodle's gonna have to go all the way back to their spawn and regroup with their Junkrat.
Yeah, rough first fight there, you know. Ultimate economy is really important on the first point of 2CP maps, where you can see really long first holds when the defenders win the first fight, and Modify won the first fight by only killing one person.
Yeah, Doodles here just preparing to go and spamming a little bit before they do decide to commit. Blueblitz's trying to go for the Junkrat kill there. Instante with the pin doesn't quite connect, though. A nice wall from Bard is going to help his team regroup, and Blaningame goes down super early. Really nice damage output there from Modified. Bard goes down as well. The Immortality field comes out from Joffis to keep his tanks up, and this is still an even 5v5 as Instante does fall. Super Polar Bear is going to get demeched, and Doodles is looking to capture this first point of Hanamura on their second attempt.
Yeah, the sustain of Doodles reign supreme there. Their Moira, their Zarya, their Lucio. It's just so hard to kill any of these heroes with not an insane amount of burst on the side of Modify, only running that Ashe Mercy with Whitman now swapping over to the Brigida. I think that's going to help them a bit here in halting the brawl, the really fast brawl that Doodles are looking for. But I don't think that can halt the snowball that Doodles are looking at right now with almost all 6 ultimates online.
Yeah, Eagle is going to have this Bob available, though, and Instante with the Shatter as well is one of their only key factors in this fight that we should be looking for. Bagel Friend with the Coalescence, a nice Shatter, cancels the beat, 5 down on the side of Doodles. Instante is ridiculous this match so far. A really nice Shatter to save the fight, but it's not completely over yet, although Modify is going to have the spawn advantage, and Doodles are going to have to back up.
Yeah, that was absolutely massive. The snowball halted by only 1 ultimate. Instante is getting massive value out of these shatters, and his team has the faith in him to hit these big shatters, and they save their ultimates. And that leads to Modify's ultimate economy being so good here. And now there's 0 snowball potential for the Doodles. They may win this next fight if they get a good Grab Blossom combo off, but it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, you got that Immortality Field and the Defense Matrix up to negate that Death Blossom, and maybe even Super Polar Bear can get an eat onto that grab, but Amplification Matrix comes out from Joffis. He is going to be taken down, though the Immortality does manage to come out. A nice pick from Super Polar Bear. He is going to take down Dry Farm after the grab taunt surge does go out. And although it's just 2 members of Modify left, they got too many picks for Doodles to be able to push onto this point and cap, as the spawn is really close, and they are going to be able to regroup.
Yeah, now we can see just a little bit of cleanup here for Modify. Doodles, they have to back out, and their composition is looking weaker and weaker here, Chim. Their Zarya doesn't maintain charge between fights because she is on the attack, and the Zarya pick, I really don't like it, and I think that Doodles' comp gets countered effectively by Super Polar Bear on the Diva, by Hegel on the Ashe, pouring in a lot of damage with his dynamites. I believe he's nearing his 3rd Bob. I could be wrong about that, but there's just so much damage from Modify. Bard on the Junkrat now, but he gets taken out by the Shatter.
A nice Shatter from Blaningame, gonna take down 2 from Modify. Halo goes down to the Junkrat tire, Blueblitz, but Blaningame gets taken down by Instante. Every single fight, it's looking like Doodles are looking good, but Modify is coming back in these fights, getting these picks. A really nice rally from Whitmitten, though, is going to be able to save Modify in this fight. Blueblitz goes down as well, and another fight won for Modify using relatively low amount of ults.
Yeah, Modify's ultimate usage so far in this series has just been so much smarter. They don't spam a lot of their ultimates early in the fight. They can win some fights off only 1 ultimate, like Instante's Shatter, pretty consistently. He has that again for this next fight, by the way. But that rally alone, I believe, used there for Modify was all they needed to win this fight. And now we're going to see a pseudo dive swap here for Doodles. They're on the Winston and the Wrecking Ball now. I think this might be a decent help to them, but still on the Junkrat Reaper. I think it's a bit awkward for these tanks and DPS to mesh.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit awkward for Doodles to engage on the same target here unless they all go top right, but this comp is going to be pretty good for them. It should be, as Matcha Bingsy gets taken down early by Super Polar Burr. That's a nice pick, and Doodles are not going to want to push into this point if they don't want to stagger themselves more.
Yeah, it's so difficult for Doodles to find a good engage here. Matcha Bingsy now swapping over to the Soldier. I like that swap from him, but the ultimates, they need to be here for Doodles sometime soon. They only have 2 minutes left on the clock, and only a sound barrier for this next fight. I'm hoping that they build up some ultimates here, Jim. They need to play to cap the point. They can't just play to try to win every fight.
That is true. They really do need to get this point presence and to cap the point. Bard with a really nice early pick. The Bob comes out from Hegel to shoot in the back of Doodles, and Dante with a shatter. Doesn't quite find anyone, but Maxwell does put out the beat to keep Doodles up. And Doodles are looking fairly good in this fight, but as I've mentioned before, they're still just not going fast enough. They're not going to be able to cap this point because Modify just has those spawns, and Doodles are not pushing the advantage super fast.
Yeah, Modify playing a very strong composition on 2CP as Doodles try to trickle into the point here. Not a fan of this. Modify's ultimate economy is looking even better than it was before, taking out Dry Farm now on the Winston, trying to do something on the point. Maybe a bit out of frustration here as Modify had been holding the second point for so long. It's been such a long hold with multiple hero swaps, and Modify still maintains 0 ticks given to Doodles, and they have so many ultimates as we near last fight territory. There might be an overtime fight here for Doodles, but Blading Game taken out. This will definitely be the last fight, this next one coming up, and Modify are well prepared for it.
Yeah, and honestly for Modify, this support lineup has been so good for negating the dive here. Whitman is looking so good on this Brigida. He's just telling Dry Farm basically go away and telling Blading Game go away because they're just not going to be able to get much value into this Baptiste and Brigida support line. And just a moment here, as there is going to be a pause, there is a player of Doodles who is having some lag issues right now, but we should be hopping in shortly. What do you think Doodles has to do here, Needle?
I think that's a tough question, Jim. I'm not entirely sure what Doodles can do here, especially on their attack. I think their attack is in a very dire state for this last fight. There's only 42 seconds left on the clock. But on their defense, I'm hoping for... I think Doodles can come out strong on their defense at least, where they can play the Junkrat and they can spam really effectively. But so far, Modify overall has just looked better in the Rhine mirror. The Brawl mirror, I think Modify has looked significantly better than Doodles have. I liked when Doodles brought out their Ball comp, their Ball Zarya, on Ilios well. You know, I think they have to continue to bring out more stuff that Modify doesn't expect or don't play very often. I think that's a really, really strong strategy in the Harmony tier, is if you just keep changing up your strategy, then the enemy team's just going to get really confused and they're not going to know what to do. So I'm hoping Doodles do that on their defense at least, but the match is being unpaused and we are heading into the final fight of Doodles' attack here.
Yeah, only this junk tire available. Doodles is going to be staging from this middle ground. Hegel's getting dived, but some really nice armor packs that are going to keep him alive, even from the double tank dive. The Junkrat tire comes out from Bard, takes down Blue Bits. That's one pick down already for Doodles. Another pick coming from the side of Modified. Now an even 4v4 on point. The mines come out from Blading Game. It's going to be really good to turn the tempo of the fight. Matcha Bingshu goes down to Super Polar Burr, and it's still not looking good for Doodles though. The Coalescence could be a fight changer here, as well as the Primal Range and the Junk Tire online for Doodles. Bagel Friend falls extremely low, not quite finished, as 2 more picks for Doodles, and they're suddenly looking really good here on the point. Bard switching that Tracer, does manage to get a pick onto Whitman. That's absolutely huge to deny all those heals and crowd control. Super gets taken down before he can remech, and Stante, though, coming back to the point. If he gets a pin, it could be absolutely massive, but he's not going to be able to connect, and Doodles is looking really good here.
Yeah, Doodles, they might cap a tick or two, maybe even the whole point. Maxo with the beat drop, preventing any of his team from dying as Modify continues to trickle out onto the point. Hegel does get his bob off right before his death. That'll help stall out the point a bit more. And Jofus has the amplification matrix coming back. Modify need a few more kills here. They only have a kill on the Junkrat so far. A few more kills, though, they might be able to turn this around, Jim.
Yeah, Blanding Game falls extremely low. Blue Lit switching onto the Tracer to try to get back to the fight faster. Bagel Friend goes down, and suddenly Modify's looking so good. Super Polar Burr, 2 picks. Another pick for Modify. And they are going to be able to hold on to this point. Doodles only capping 64%. A really, really nice hold there for Modify.
Yeah, really good hold from Modify, but Doodles performed way better in that last fight than I expected them to, Jim. I thought they were just going to get zero capture progress whatsoever, but they did manage to get 64.3%. That's a win condition for them now. They can go on to second point, and they don't have to play for a draw, and I think that's really good. I think that's always something good for a team's mental as well. You know, getting full held on the second point, it really hurts because it's like, okay, are we going to win this game? No, we're probably not going to win this game. Maybe we can draw it, but there's no way we're going to win it. But now they have a win condition. They just need to not give up almost 2 ticks on second point if it gets there. But I think Doodles have a chance to full hold them here. They are going to the ball comp, which I wanted to see from them. I really like this. Keep changing it up. Keep flipping the script on Modify. Show them something new. Show them something that they're not ready for, and you might just have a chance.
Yeah, this comp coming from Doodles is a little bit wacky, but it honestly makes a lot of sense. You've got so much poke damage here. Baptiste and Zenyatta are 2 of the highest poke damage supports in the game, as well as Baptiste has got great sustain for his team, and you've got the Transcendence from the Zenyatta ultimate. You've got Ashe and Junkrat, which are 2 of the highest poke damage DPS. Sigma, which is one of the highest poke tanks in the game. And then you've got Ball, which is really good for disrupting Modify's comp, and just it's really good for point presence as well, and the rest of Doodles can just poke while the ball's on point. But this comp coming up for Modify is going to be really deadly into Doodles.
Yeah, I definitely think it has potential to with the Ashe Mercy, but I think Bard and the rest of his team who takes a teleporter, which unfortunately missed there, are going to get bursted pretty hard by all of the spam damage from Doodles. They have a lot of it. They have the Ashe, they have the Junkrat, the Zen, and the Bap. It's going to be really hard for the Brawl portion of Modify's comp to get value.
Yeah, and a nice boot from Blended Game is, I think, going to take Bard off the map. And Instante does fall off the map, taken by the Orbs of Dry Farm. And another really nice environmental kill from Blended Game. 3 environmental kills for the side of Doodles there, but a good pick from Heagle is going to take down Maxwell, and Modify is going to be able to push in really fast this next fight.
I'm surprised that Modify are switching over to the Pharah here instantly off the Symmetra. I definitely think they should have swapped up to the Symmetra, but I'm not sure if Pharah was the right pick. Disrespect on matchup Bingsu here, as he's already spamming and killing out Bard.
Yeah, Bard falls extremely early, and Modify is just going to continue to push into this point. Bard gets resurrected by Whitmitten. Machi Bingsu falls really low. Maxwell is back in this point, though. It isn't even 6v6, although back in the Lucio, which is not the optimal pick for him. The minefield almost online for Blended Game, though, could be a game changer here in this fight. Maxwell does go down again, but Modify aren't really hard committing to this fight. Maxwell may have another chance to get back to this point, and Doodles is going to have a chance to build their ultimates.
Yeah, Bard is not afraid to get all up in the face of the DPS of Doodles, and he's still going off on the point here, taking out the Baptiste as well. This is looking really good for Modify on the first point, and they have some decent snowball potential too. I think Doodles is still trying to hold this out. They did get a kill on Eagle, but with Blue Blitz going down, I don't know how good their odds are here to retake this first point.
Yeah, Super Fullerboar falls extremely low. Blended Game isn't quite able to finish him off, although the minefield does come out. Blended Game can just narrowly save themselves from getting off the map, and I think now Doodles, all they're trying to do is stall out this point. Maxwell still on the point, and Modify launched a really, really nice attack. They got a couple of advantages. They played it slow, they didn't overextend, they let Bard poke, and they're going to cap this point, and they're going to have a lot of time to just get a couple ticks on the second point.
Yeah, really smart play from Modify, and I didn't like that stall from Doodles because now Modify have a lot of ultimates online for this next fight, and Doodles, they don't really have any good tools to negate them. They don't have their sound barrier online because Maxwell swapped to Lucio late, and Bagel Friend, okay, Maxwell now on the Baptiste, so still no defensive ultimate on the side of Doodles here.
Yeah, but that Baptiste and Brigade are going to be really good for negating that damage from the far out. So much heals in that support comp there. But Modify taking such an aggressive stance. 2 picks already. The Graviton Surge comes out. The Bob trying to save Doodles, but 4 of them are already dead. A really nice Shadow is going to take down the Bob and going to take down Blended Game. And Modify is looking really good to capture this point. The Junkrat Tire almost saves the day, and Doodles can't even touch. Modify is going to be able to capture Hanamura, taking the map 2-1, going up 2-0 in the series.
Yeah, Modify already adapting to the Wrecking Ball strategies of Doodles. I didn't expect them to, but they did, Jim, and they won that attack so fast. I think Doodles definitely made some poor decisions on their defense, but at the same time, Modify are looking really strong so far.
Yeah, Modify are looking really, really good here. And I mean, Doodles, they've been playing what they're comfortable on. They've been performing fairly well. I mean, they almost captured both points on Hanamura. They won a point of control on Ilios. It's definitely not really like complete dominance for Modify. Even though Modify looks really good, Doodles are still looking good themselves. And I mean, every map is a completely blank slate. Going into hybrid, Doodles could look completely different. What do you think some of the hybrid maps, or some of the best choices Doodles could pick here, Noodle?
I have to take another look at the hybrid maps really fast. I'm not entirely sure, but I believe, okay, they are Eichenwald, Kings Row, and Numbani. I hope that Doodles do not pick Kings Row here, because Modify have looked really strong when they play the Reinhardt so far, which has been this whole time. So I hope that Doodles pick a map where they can play the Wrecking Ball strategies, pick, say, Numbani, but they are going to pick Kings Row. It's not the pick that I wanted them to have, Chim, but maybe they have confidence on this map for a reason that I just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Kings Row, if they want to stick to that Junkrat, Kings Row is definitely a solid Junkrat map. On most of these hybrid maps, you know, the map usually sticks away from short range after you cap the first point and push the payload, but Kings Row is pretty much just a short range map every single point. You've got so many viable compositions. In the old days, you could pretty much only run Brawl, or I mean, going even older, you could only run Goats. It was the Goats map, but nowadays teams run so many things. You've got ball comps you can run, Winston Diva, Ryan Zarya. You've got so many different compositions here on Kings Row. Such a versatile map, evolving from the old Goats only era of Kings Row. And I think that no matter what Doodles play, this is going to have to be their turning point. They've got to show Modify that they're going to put up a bigger fight than the previous two maps.
Yep, I completely agree, Chim. Being down 0-2 is one thing. Being down 0-3 is really rough on the mental state of a team. But being down 0-2, you have a chance. And this is where Doodles, like you said, they need to show signs of life more than they have already. They have shown some signs of life. They're not completely dead. They're not flatlining just yet. They're not out of it. But we need to see a bit more. Doodles need to make it more competitive at the very least. Maybe even win this map. It is their map pick, Kings Row, but we get to see this composition that has been working really well so far for Modify. Playing the Mei, playing the Ashe, the Brig, and the Baptiste. It's just such a strong composition, playing off a lot of heroes that were buffed recently in the Mei, the Brigitte, the Baptiste, all heroes, you know, they benefited from the most recent patch. They're all much stronger now than they were before. But we get to see the Zenyatta in Brawl on the side of Doodles if they decide to stick with the Zenyatta here. Going off of Discord Orbs, nope, never mind. They're just going to be swapping over to the Lucio. And the Pharah as well with no Mercy. Okay, Mercy Lucio, the battalion support line on the side of Doodles here.
Yeah, very interesting strategy here. Doodles have got Pharah and Junkrat, which is so much poke damage. Probably the most, the DPS with the most poke potential here from the side of Doodles. So playing slow, letting their DPS poke, and letting Blade and Game do his own thing. Already 70% to the minefield. It's just going to be how Doodles is going to win this first fight here, maybe even the map.
Oh yeah, he's putting out so much damage on the Wrecking Ball right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, Bluebit's going to fall early, and Doodles going to have to go back a little bit. Matcha Bingsu picked as well, not in a safe position to res. Blade and Game just narrowly managed to get out, and even though they lost the first fight, Doodles is looking really good here in the ult economy-wise. Almost on par, or if not with more ult charge than Modify.
Yeah, I completely agree. That barrage is going to charge up pretty fast against the composition that Modify is running. And the minefield, very unexpectedly, online already against a Brigitte and a Reinhardt and a Mei. I'm surprised Blade Game got his ultimate, but now we get to see Dry Farm swapping over to the Winston. We're going to see a really aggressive engage from Doodles here.
Yeah, the wall comes out, which is a really nice separation of Blade Game from his team, but Doodles is just going to go ahead and sit around till the wall is down. But Blade Game with a really aggressive engagement there. Wimbledon goes down early. Immortality Field doesn't come out quite in time. It does come out though, and the barrage comes out from Machu Bingsu. Does so much damage on a Modified through the amplification matrix. Bluebits goes down, but that's 5 picks for Doodles, 6 picks for Doodles. A team kill as Bluebits is going to get rezzed. A really nice push there for Doodles on the first point.
Yeah, such an aggressive engage, knowing that Doodles, they have the ultimate advantage. They had the minefield and the barrage almost online, and a great bubble from Dry Farm. I believe it cut off the heals from Jofus onto Whitman, securing the kill on him there. Now we get to see Doodles their DPS are in the spawn of Modify right now, already taking out Eagle, and now the Pharah is flying pretty free.
Yeah, Machu Bingsu is just free to basically do whatever he wants here. Already 30 to that next barrage, 40 to that next barrage, and with no Heagle, with Heagle coming back from spawn, he's just going to continue to build up that ult charge, and Doodle's just going to continue to get that free space here, moving up with that beat available and the Junkrat Tire next fight. And Blame Game doing a really nice job of building these mines.
Yeah, it definitely has so far. This is going to be a crazy next fight. A lot of ultimates on line for both sides here, Chim.
The Graviton Surge is going to come out from Super Polar Burr. The beat, though, is really nice to keep Doodles up. But the follow-up Blizzard comes out, as well as the Earth Shatter gets blocked by the Winston Bubble. 2 picks for Modify, 3 picks for Modify, and Doodles is not going to have any support here going to this fight. Just going to be the Lucio heals. The Lucio does fall, and Blame Game tries to put out the minefield to turn the fight, but he just does not have enough of his teammates alive to be able to win this by himself. He does get walled off with a really nice wall from Bard. Should be taken out here, and is taken out. A really nice stagger kill there.
Yeah, smart play from Bard, looking to deny the exit of the Wrecking Ball, and he does, but he's rezzed up. And now the Ultimate Economy swaying a little bit in Doodle's favor here. They have the Barrage online. We'll see if they can get negated effectively.
The swap onto the Zenyatta here as well could be huge for the side of Doodles. And Blue Blitz with a really nice tire there. Takes down Instant Tank, takes down Bard. No main tank for Modify is going to be no figure to stack on. And so Doodles is just going to prey upon all the individual scattered members of Modify. They are going to go ahead and win the fight, and very close to capping second point.
Yeah, very good fight win for Doodles, but Modify still have the 3 ultimates that they did not invest last fight online. Super Polar Bird now swapping over to the D.Va. I think that's a smart pick against the composition that Doodles are running.
Yeah, D.Va's going to do a really good job of negating some of that fire damage. Whitman in with the rally, bring his team onto the point to recontest. Amplification Matrix comes out as well from Joffis, and the Bob from Eagle. It's so much disruption, so much damage, but the only pick so far has been onto Instante. But 2 picks from Modify is going to save this point, as it was looking really bad for them early on. But maybe Doodles is back into this. A really nice 5 orb from Maxwell is going to take down Bard, and Dry Farm gets rezzed.
Yeah, still a few good exit kills there for Doodles, but they are going to be backing out. I really like the composition that Doodles are showing us now, Chim. This is, I think, what they needed to switch it up a little bit. They put their hit scan player on Pharah, and it's working out well for them so far.
And Machu Bingsu making the swap onto the Hanzo, though. An early minefield from Blame Games going to allow his team to push in aggressively. Hegel is going to be cut off from his team, although the Immortality Field not forced, so maybe not the optimal mines, but definitely a very good tool for his team to push in. Blame Game does go down, and now Doodles is going to have to back up if they don't want to risk staggering themselves.
Yeah, good fight there for Modified. I think so far this series, I've noticed that Modified's team cohesion has been on a different level than Doodles so far. You know, 3 of these players have been playing together for a little while. They were champions last season, and it's just really, really good showing from Modified with the team cohesion there so far. But there are a few ultimates on the side here for Doodles that they could use to turn this around. They have a Junkrat Riptire. They have a Transcendence. This could be really good next fight here for Doodles.
Doodles taking the aggressive approach once again. Super Polar Bear caught out in the open, taken extremely low, but not quite finished off here by Doodles. Still with so many ults to push in with, they're not committing any of them just yet. Blame Game goes for a massive pile drive onto the enemy team. The Bob comes out from Eagle just to put damage onto the back line. A really nice immortality from Joffis. Gonna save 3 members of Modify from getting rip-tired and dying. Macha Bingsu does take him down though, and that's a lot of heals gone for Modify. It's gonna be really tough for their tanks to stay alive in this fight now, but so many picks from Modify, it's not gonna matter if they don't have heals. Instante with their Shatter just to put the icing on the cake. And now we're heading into 1-fight territory.
Yeah, and the ultimate situation is not looking the best here for Doodles, but it didn't look the best last map when they managed to get 2 ticks on Hanamura. So they can turn this around there. They switched to some crucial heroes now. They're on the Doomfist and the Zarya. Doomfist has a lot of kill potential, and it might just be what Doodles needs to turn it around for this last fight.
It's going to be so tough to negate all those ults from Modify as the rally does come out early. A nice rally is going to be able to give so much armor to the members of Modify. And Bard, with the Reaper roll, takes on Macha Bingsu before Maxwell manages to get the Transcendence off, but he does get it off to keep his team up. Whitman goes down, now an even 5v5, but the Blanco's out. Takes down Bagel Friend, no resurrection available in this fight now for Doodles. The Amplification Matrix comes out from Joffis. but just applies so much damage. And Doodles, are they going to be able to touch the point? They actually do, and Sante goes down with a really nice shot from Maxwell. Bagel Friend switches out Lucio, try to touch the point, and some really nice picks on the side of Doodles, but it's not completely over. Bard does get Discord Orb onto him, is taken down by Blaine and Game. Just Heagle and Whitman, and now on this point to stall. Doodles going to have to get this final kill, but I don't think Modify is going to be able to touch.
Maxwell has been absolutely fragging out on the Zenyatta, especially this fight here, Chim. He took out Heagle when Heagle was 95% to Bob with the 5 orb. Absolutely crucial kill for the Doodles there, securing their point cap. This guy's pretty mechanically insane on the Zen. But heading into this next fight, the composition of Doodles has gotten very, very strange. They're on Zen Lucio heals with Tracer Junkrat. Okay, now they're switching over to the McCree. Still a bit of a weird composition. Okay, a few more swaps that Doodles needed there, but while some of their team was making swaps in spawn, the rest of their team was pushed up, and Modifier punishing that.
Yeah, Maxwell taken out early. Doodle is going to have to do a full reset after that one. Although, honestly, not a bad fight loss at all. They got the Bob out from Eagle. The Sombra swap does come out from Machi Bingsu. It's going to put a lot of pressure onto Instante if he does hope to hack the main tank from Modify. But these swaps are looking really good for Doodles. Eagle goes down early to the spam of Dry Farm. Blaine and Gabe goes for the aggressive engage, almost to that minefield again. And that Discord Orb just is so much damage, it's going to be really hard for Modify to be able to stay in this fight with so much disruption from Blaine and Game. But the Amplification Matrix does come out from the side of Modify to save the team. Some really nice sustain there, healing through that Amplification Matrix, as well as the damage output is just so high. But Joffus does go down, and Super Polar Bear is demech. The Graviton Surge comes out, a nice Riptide, gonna take down 2, and Doodle's gonna be able to push this towards the 3rd objective point.
I'm surprised that Doodles turned that fight around there, and they have some tools to maintain the point and maybe cap 3rd here. They have the Transcendence, they almost have the Amplification Matrix, and they have the Minefield, which I think is most important here. They can provide a lot of value in stall fights.
And Sante with this Earth Shatter up does get taken down super early. That's a huge pick for Doodles. The Transcendence comes out as well, and there's no Immortality Field up for the side of Modify now, and only the Reaper ult available. Bard taken down to 72 HP. A nice pick on the Dry Farm is going to put Modify back in this fight, but Bard is taken down before he can use his ultimate. And Bagel Friend with the Amplification Matrix seals the deal, as Instante just narrowly misses the point there.
Yeah, really good kills from Doodles there. Very fast kills onto the members of Modify who were not able to use their ultimates in time. And Doodles punching back after being taken down really aggressively in the first 2 maps. A really good showing on this King's Row attack, showing why it was actually a good map pick. Proving me wrong here, Jim. You know, they took it to King's Row and they hit hard here on their attack, but they do still have the defense remaining, and I'm not sure what they can pull out. Their defense has looked a bit weak so far. It looked really weak on Hanamura, and I don't know. I think this is going to be tough for Doodles, but they did show a really good showing on the attack. Maybe they can play some similar compositions on their defense and still have success, but I don't know. Modify's looked so good on the attack so far.
We're going to see Modify picking the Pharah right off the bat. The Pharah Mercy with the Ashe, the Moira, and the Rhine and the Diva. Similar comp to what they played on their Hanamura defense. Hanamura attack, except of course with a Symmetra instead. But I think this could be a good look for Modify, although it's going to be very tough to play the Pharah into what Doodles is running. If the Pharah gets discorded, it's going to be really easy for Matcha Bingsu and Maxwell and Bagel Friend and even Blaine and Game to be able to poke Bard out. So he's going to have to do a really good job of playing safe and applying lots of damage from far away.
Yeah, no dedicated hit scan DPS on the side of Doodles, but they do have enough tools to make up for that with Discord Orb, like you mentioned. I think it's going to be a bit of a rough fight here for Bard. Again, just like it was on Ilios for him, with a really smart composition choice from Doodles.
Yeah, it's going to be a really rough push here for all the members of Modify, but a nice pick, a direct shot onto Maxwell, takes him down early, and forget that Discord Orb because Doodles are not going to have that available to them. Whitman does go down though, Blue Blitz possibly saving the fight for his team. Blaine and Game falls extremely low, both the tanks do for the side of Doodles, but Bard is taken down by Blaine and Game. And Joffus goes down as well, which is going to take down most of the heals for Modify's tanks. They are going to be able to push more onto this point as Bagelfriend is taken down, but with 2 main healers, Doodles is still looking really good. They've got that Moira to keep themselves up, and Blueblitz almost to that Riptire could be able to save this fight, as Instante and Super Polar Bear are almost taken down, but Dry Farm is going to fall, and Modify narrowly manages to win this first fight.
And Modify pulling it out. A really good first kill there onto the Zenyatta that Mags was on before he switched. Really good kill from Bard. Didn't expect the Pharah to work out well, but he's proven me wrong. He looked really good on the Pharah in this first fight. A bit of a long fight, though. There's a decent time still on the bank. For, nice kill there from Blueblitz. Still a decent time bank for Modify here, but Blaming Game seems like he's going in constantly, Chin. This guy is already 80% to his minefield. He's just going in every fight with all of his grapples. He's going in again! He's charging his minefield so fast, Chin.
Yeah, Blaming Game is playing so aggressive, but honestly, there's not much to punish him. And a really nice Riptide takes down Whitman and Joffus. No heals available from Modify. Modify is not going to want to take this fight. They don't want to feel that ult charge, because they can't get healed. But as I was saying, I mean, you've got no stuns on the side of Modify. The only stun you've got is charge, and I don't think you want to be charging the ball that's constantly in your team. You've got no crowd control, nothing to stun, nothing to put that much damage on a Blading Game, as he does take the super aggressive minefield and is still going in.
Wow. This reminds me of Wolven from flashbacks on last season, where he's just constantly going in, no fear aggression from Blading Game. And now we can see a massive EMP for Doodles.
Yeah, the EMP gonna catch 3, and the Coalescence as well from Maxwell to follow up. No picks found, but Super Polar is demeched, and that's going to be massive for Blueblitz to be able to apply all this damage, just spamming Modify out. They are not able to push in. It's just so difficult for the Modify tanks. And now Modify's only hope is going to be Bard's Barrage, which is coming up here.
Yeah, he's getting pressured out so effectively, and the Sombra already down on the side of Doodles, though. Maybe Modify have a chance going in.
Machu Picchu falls early, Blueblitz falls as well, and now it's a 4v6, as Dry Farm is taken extremely low, with a nice Immortality field is going to keep him alive. The Amplification Matrix comes out to try to turn the fight, and the tanks of Modify are going to have to back up. They don't want to get melted by that Amplification Matrix there. Blading Game almost to another minefield, just constantly going and getting so much ult charge, swinging around with nothing to worry about, basically. And a nice barrage from Bard takes down both supports. Not enough time for the Immortality field to come out. Super Polar with the bomb to follow up. Doesn't quite catch anything, but Doodles is going to have 3 ults here if they decide to recontest.
Yeah, I believe they just might here. Matcha Bingsu on this cheeky little flank might be able to take out the pharmacy.
Whitman, I think, is unaware. A nice DM, though, saves Whitman, possibly saves the fight. As the minefield does come out from Blading Game, Whitman does end up dying. Bard picks up 2 picks, and Dry Farm with a big flux. He is killed just after he slams them to the ground. Blading Game with 3 picks this fight is still rolling around on this point, and now the Coalescence is up to keep him up, and Modify is going to struggle so much to finish him off as he's getting healed by this Coalescence.
Yeah, nobody can kill this menace of a Wrecking Ball as he's still alive on the point. 50% to another minefield using it in that fight. And now Whitman is down. The stall continues here for Doodles. The respawn points are so far away, and kills are continuing to be traded. I'm not sure who's going to win this fight, Jim.
Yeah, still just an even 4v4 here on point. Blueblitz is taken down. Super Polar Bear almost back into that Diva mech, and if he gets back into that Diva mech, I think it's probably over for Doodles here. The Immortality field comes out. Dry Farm's taken extremely low, and the Earth Shatter shatters both of the Doodles tanks, and that solidifies this second point cap for Modify.
Yeah, nice Shatter to secure it for them there. Doodles, you know, there are 3 minutes left on the timing for Modify, but Doodles have some pieces to hold Modify off. They almost have the Tactical Visor. Oh, never mind. They do not almost have a Tactical Visor online, as we see some swaps here for the Doodles. Now playing a comp that we've seen a lot before. They will maintain being on the double main healers here, so a lot of sustain here for Doodles.
Yeah, and Doodles' ult economy is not looking good here. They've just basically 0 across the board, although Blueblitz almost has that that Riptire, and that Riptire could be a game changer here. Moving into this point, Super Polar Bear launches the bomb, and the charge comes out from Instante. A really nice tactic, but just a little bit early of a charge. Whitman goes down early to Blueblitz, and the pulse bomb comes out from Bard, not quite finding anything, but now a 5v5 on point. There's going to be no Reaper for the side of Doodles. It's going to be really tough for them to finish off the tank to Modify, and as I say that, Instante gets killed mid-shatter. A really good kill there for Doodles. Immortality kill is going to come out to sustain the team, and Doodles is going to be able to win this fight.
Yeah, Blue Blitz having two really key kills there that kind of work in modifying the neutral there, you know, winning these fights for Doodles that maybe they shouldn't be winning with the snowball advantage that Modify had going in with Doodles making a full comp swap. But post full comp swap, Doodles are looking really good. They still have that Riptire online. They're nearing their support ultimates, and a swap over to the McCree to counter Bard's Pharmacy is going to make it really tough for him here.
You got the McCree, you've got the you've got the Baptiste as well to poke, and as I said that, the Baptiste of Doodles gets a nice headshot on the Bard, taking him down. Blue Minion goes down as well. The Riptire cancel though, a nice cancel from Bard, making this once again an even fight. Hugo with the Bob to apply pressure into the backline is melted though. And Blaine Game looking to use this Shatter here as Bagel Friend uses the Coalescence to further keep his team up, just get more momentum in this fight because it still could go either way. Instante's shield is going to go down and Doodles pushing this advantage. Blaine Game still looking for the Shatter here, may not decide to use it here as they have won the fight. He is going to come to his senses and back up a little bit, but a really nice fight win for, from Doodles.
Yeah, we get to see the continuous swaps here for Modify. As they're approaching only 2 fights left, Teal taken out early by a nice fire strike from Blaine Game. He's looked really good on this map so far. But Doodles, their ult economy is recovering hard, while Modify is continuing to make switches. Oh, nice little play there from Doodles, taking out Super Pulliper, punishing his position there. Doodles have just really leveled up on this map so far, Chim. I'm really liking how they're playing.
Yeah, with 40 seconds left on the clock for Modify, Doodles needs to win one fight and then a half fight that Modify will have just to stall a little bit. And for this fight, Instante may be able to build an Earth Shatter. A nice counter pin though, and the Immortality coming out. The Shatter comes out for Blaine Game. A really good block there from Instante is going to keep his team up. Blaine Game goes down to the Coalescence of Joffis. Joffis finding 2 picks there, even with the Graviton Surge from Dry Farm. And now Doodles is going to have one more fight here. They should have a full team fight as long as Dry Farm and Maxwell don't get picked off. Blaine Game now on this ball to try to stall the point out. The Amplification Matrix goes out. The Immortality field available. A really nice strat here. The Amplification Matrix High Noon picks off 2. Bard is off the map. Instante with the Shatter though. A huge Shatter possibly saving the game. The Riptire comes out and it's just Joffis and Instante on this point for Modify. Just Joffis trying to keep the dream alive. If the Moira falls for Modify, it's over. And Doodles should take this point. Super Polar Bear on the point to stall. Bard on the Tracer as well. Modify still has a chance, although it's very slim. Heagle with it, High Noon online is available, but Doodles, with a really, really nice map win, are going to take King's Row, start coming back in the series, and they look like a completely different team.
Yeah, they really do, Chim. That was a great showing by Doodles here. Instante getting the play of the game, but Doodles really played that map so well here. This grab High Noon, that High Noon Amplification Matrix really clutched that overtime fight for them there, preventing extra rounds for Modify. Really, like a new Doodles, I think, as you mentioned. It really was a new Doodles on this map. Really, really good to turn it around and win a map before you're down 0-3. It's absolutely amazing. And Blaine Game on the Wrecking Ball was absolutely shredding Modify, just swinging like crazy on their defense. Their defense, Chim, the ball on King's Row, on Doodles' defense was going absolutely ham, pun intended. That was a really, really good performance from Doodles, and I hope that they play more of these wacky, unorthodox comps going forward. I love to watch wacky, unorthodox comps, and Doodles played it really well on Kings.
Yeah, Wrecking Ball, one of my best tanks, one of my favorite tanks to play. Kings Row, one of my favorite maps, but to play Wrecking Ball. And Blaine Game has shown us he is dominating on that Wrecking Ball with the lack of counters coming out from Modify. But once again, a really nice map there from Doodles. We are going to be jumping into our halftime break. After the halftime, we're going to see if Doodles can continue looking like this completely new team and continue their win streak, or if Modify is going to have to shut them down right here, right now, and win 2 more maps. But we will go ahead and see you after the halftime break in about 9 minutes.
I called you tonight. I've been thinking this for too long. Send a message, you don't reply. I'll keep looking for you, even if it's wrong. I'm sitting all alone in my room. You're stuck so high in my head. I don't care if there's no chance. I need to find you. I need to know. I need to know. I need to know. If we're still in your heart. I called you tonight. I've been thinking this for too long. Send a message, you don't reply. I'll keep looking for you, even if it's wrong. Sitting all alone in my room. You're stuck so high in my head. I don't care if there's no chance. I need to find you. I need to know. I need to know. I need to know if we're still in your heart. If we're still in your heart. I need to know if we're still in your heart. I'll try stop the road to know if we're still in your heart. I'll try need a goal to find myself back in your heart. I'll try stop the road to know if I'm still in your heart. I'll try need a goal to find myself back in your heart. If I'm still in your heart.
Alright, welcome back to the second half of the Modify Doodles Aurum finals match. And currently Modify are in the lead 2-1 with a pretty dominant first two maps. And Doodles looking like a completely different team on map 3, which is King's Row. They pulled out different types of comps. They were pretty unorthodox. They were looking really, really good versus what Modify was running. And I think if Doodles stick to their guns and keep running what they're running, moving into this fourth map, which should be Rialto here, I think Doodles can definitely continue to pick up maps in this series.
Yeah, I definitely think Doodles have a chance. Their Wrecking Ball player was going off hard on King's Row, doing a lot of damage on Wrecking Ball, hitting his ultimates really fast and using them pretty effectively. And I think they can continue that here on Rialto. They can probably play a lot more Hammond as well on this map. If they can make it work on King's Row, I have faith that Doodles can make it work anywhere. But Rialto is a smart pick from Modify, as I imagine they are going to be putting Bard on Pharah. You know, this is kind of like, I expect Modify to play similar comps to kind of how I treat Modify kind of like Primal in the Transcendence tier. Rest in peace. Primal played a lot of Pharmacy Chim. They had a Pharah player named Pro Gamer. He was their flex DPS. He played Pharah whenever possible. I think Modify is kind of in the same way with Bard, where he's playing a lot of Pharah pretty much wherever he can. So Rialto, I think, is a smart pick here for Modify. They can play the Pharah on this map. It's pretty effective, but at the same time, I don't know if Pharah is going to be enough to contain the raw Chad energy that we saw from Doodles on that last map of King's Row, with Blaine in game, going ham on the Hammond, doing a lot of damage, and the rest of his team looking great as well, making swaps when they needed to, and making them work. Blue Blitz looking good on that Junkrat so far this entire series, getting some crucial kills, getting some good damage in. Doodles have just looked really good so far. At least on King's Row they looked really good, but at the same time, if Modify bring back some of that energy that they had in the first two maps, it could be really deadly for Doodles here on Rialto.
Yeah, looking at Rialto, it's a pretty sniper-dominated map, but like you said, I think Modify definitely could play the Pharah if they should choose to. It's a pretty decent Pharah map, whether you're on attack or defense. Up until you get to like second point, gets a little rough as Pharah, third point gets a little rougher, but first point is a pretty decent Pharah point. But the Rialto is generally dominated by snipers. Widowmaker, Hanzo, Ashe, all really, really good choices on Rialto. And rolling out onto this defense, we're going to see Modify playing that Pharmacy. Heagle's going to be on the McCree, going to put a lot of frontline pressure. Joffus on the Moira, some great sustain for the tanks, and you've got the Reinhardt and the Diva. And what do we see looking at Doodles comp here, Needle?
I'm a bit confused with what Doodles are running, but it's not too far off what they have been running so far this series. Maxsoul was fragging out on the Zenyatta, Blue Blitz was fragging out on the Junkrat, and Blaine Game was fragging out on the Wrecking Ball. So I can't really complain with these three players returning to the heroes that they looked so good on last map. But also a quick update: there is another match going on right now. The Indigo Finals in Discord tier. Exodus is up 3-0 right now against Flying Lions.
Alright, rolling out here, Doodles are going to be on the attack. Blaine and Game going to have a pretty easy time here. I mean, on King's Row, Modify wasn't running any stuns, but they do have the McCree now, although it's not going to be that much to negate them. Blaine and Game still does not have to be that afraid, just to make a little McCree stun to stop him. And Doodles is just getting so much space right off the bat, although Bard is doing a really great job of poking them out.
Yeah, but see the fight. Oh, sorry. Go.
Doodles continuing to push onto this high ground here, regrouping a little bit just to stabilize, letting Machu Picchu poke out. A nice pick from Heagle, though, is going to take him down, and Doodles are not going to want to push in anymore, especially after losing their Moira. A lot of heals are going to be gone, as well as a lot of damage. Superpolar Bird does get demeched and killed as Baby Diva, so Dante's going to be put in quite the predicament here, as he is going to continue to get poked down by Dry Farm and Blue Blitz.
It's actually a really good kill there for Doodles as they look to continue to capitalize, taking out Heagle as well. Doodles now taking a lot of space here on first point.
Yeah, Blaine Game already 70% to that minefield, almost to that Riptire as well. A nice kill onto Instante, no shield for Modify. and there's just going to be so much damage that they're going to have to deal with. Probably too much damage for them to even sustain from. The Riptide comes out to try to confirm this first fight. Whitman caught out in the open, but pulls out the Mercy block and blocks the tire, taking it out of the fight. Immortality Field comes out to negate all the damage from the Super Polar Bear Bomb, and he is going to get taken down as Baby Diva. And Doodles is looking really good here, moving on to second point.
Yeah, they definitely are. Coalescence can be really effective here, but it can be matched here on the side of Modify as well. And Modify, they have a lot of ultimates for their recontest fight.
Blending Game with a nice minefield to try to keep them off the point. Coalescence exchange for both sides. A nice stun from Heagle is going to take down Blending Game. Bard with the Vera Barrage, taking down 2, confirming the fight win for Modify, and only a couple ultis there.
Yeah, definitely good ultimate economy here for Modify, but losing very fast is kind of what you want on an attacking team. Getting team killed like that is actually good. There are now Doodles can regroup really fast as a unit, something that they've struggled with a bit so far. Sometimes they're going in like 4v6 or 5v6, but now, since all of them died at one time, they can go in 6v6, and they have a lot of ultimates here.
If Doodles can look to push in here extremely aggressively now that Super Polar Bear is out of the mech. Whitman with the Valkyrie trying to sustain the team, but the High Noon and the window is going to be too much for Modify to handle. Heagle goes down, and Stante tries to catch anything with the Earth Shatter and does not quite manage to do so. Just getting absolutely bullied by the tanks of Doodles. And all the Doodle players are falling extremely low there. They're just not able to push in too aggressively because the heals are just not finding the way of the Doodles tanks. There's just so much damage coming out from Bard and from Heagle that there's just not much the Doodles tanks can do.
Yeah, I believe half of Modify was zoning the back line of Doodles for that entire fight. And yeah, like you mentioned, the Doodles tanks, they could do nothing there. You know, they can't receive healing because their backline's being zoned really effectively. And now Bard has another barrage online for this next fight, and there are no tools to negate it very effectively on the side of Doodles.
Yeah, Bard looking to use the barrage here. Blue Blitz almost falls, but the Immortality Field is available for Doodles should Bard choose to go for this barrage. Blending Game with another minefield here could also be a game changer as well. Bagel Friend falls extremely low. Bard with the barrage doesn't quite find anything. A really nice Immortality Field, although Bagel Friend barely steps out of the field and does get taken down by the barrage. 2 more picks for the side of Modify, and Doodles is not even going to be able to touch here, although I think Blending Game might be able to with the minefield.
Oof. Very unfortunate attack there for Doodles. I'm going to be honest, Chimanzi. I thought they had a lot of time left in that bank. Modify won that so fast, it seemed to me. I don't know how many fights Doodles took, but that was just really good Overwatch from Modify, fighting back on their map pick, going the pharmacy that they're comfortable with, that they're known pretty well for. Bard, prominent Bard player in Harmony tier, and Modify looking really good on Rialto on their defense, but now they have to challenge now they have to challenge Doodles, when Doodles looked really good on their defense on Kings, and I think Doodles have a chance to bring out even more crazy here. I'm hoping to see more Blending Game on the ball, causing more havoc. I noticed he didn't wreak as much havoc as he did last map, but now we get to see Blending Game on the D.Va. I thought he was their main tank, but he's showing a new look for us here on the D.Va pick. Blue Blitz remains on the Junkrat, and some more similar picks here for Doodles, but now Bagel Friend on the Mercy. Overall, I think Doodles' comp is pretty good here. They have the Batiste still. I think the Batiste is really effective in just helping your team not die with Immortality Field, obviously. And in Harmony tier, I think one of the most important things you can do to win is just not die. So some really good tools to not die here. I've said that a lot on the side of Doodles, but good to see Heagle not yet picking his hero. Bard showing the Widowmaker look. I hope he's just looking for a spawn kill, Chim.
I think he is going to be doing that. And a nice shot, and takes down Blue Blitz. Although the Resurrection is available, it might be really dangerous. Bard is going to stay on this Widowmaker, probably trying just to deny that res. But Blending Game with a really smart body block. Should Bagel Friend choose to go res, could be able to stop that, but there is no Resurrection available, and Blending Game is going to get demech'd. That's pretty much a 2-man advantage now for Modify, and it actually is now a 2-man advantage, as they are going to continue to push 6v5 in this fight. Dry Farm falls extremely low. Blending Game now is respawned, but the Immortality Field is already gone, and Modify is looking so good here. All the advantages, 3-man advantage, no Immortality Field online for the side of Doodles. Blue Blitz is now dead, and Landing Game is just going to have to go for a last-minute touch here to try to do something. He goes out, falls extremely low, uses those adaptive shields, and now the Sigma as well able to touch. Landing Game falls extremely low with a nice stun from Eagle, and just continuous close fight here on point. Another great pick from Bard though. The Immortality Field falls again. Maxwell is going to get res. Landing Game falls extremely low, does fall to Eagle. The High Noon soon online, as well as the Widow Sights. Should Modify choose a committal here. Super pullover commits a flux and a nice double High Noon kill there. And Modify showing complete and utter dominance on Rialto, taking the lead in the series 3-1.
Yeah, that was a really good showing from Modify. They looked so good on their attack and their defense there, winning the only 2 fights that they needed on their attack and winning it pretty fast. That was a quick map of Rialto, not even getting to see second or third point. It's kind of missed second and third point, you know, they're pretty scenic, but it seems that we don't get to see it very often anymore, especially when Modify just looks that good. But wow, honestly, Jim, I don't even know what to say. I thought Doodles had way more of a chance going into that map with how they performed on King's Row, but Modify kind of crushed their dreams there on Rialto, full holding them, and then winning with Bard on Widow on their attack. That's I wouldn't say it's the nail in the coffin for Doodles, but that's pretty rough. That's a pretty rough pick from Bard to lose to if you're Doodles there, Jim.
Yeah, Bard looked really good on that Widow though. I thought he was going for that spawn pick, as you said, just a spawn pick. He did manage to get it, and you know, from that Bard spawn pick, he stayed on the Widow, and they just snowballed. Diva got demeched, and Bard got another pick, and Modify just pushed up, and there's nothing Doodles could do. If Modify can continue to do that, moving on to this next control map, whatever it should be, then I think that probably was the nail in the coffin. But Modify has looked really good here on these control maps. Doodles is going to go ahead and pick Li Jiang, and I think Li Jiang definitely plays their strengths. What do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree. Doodles showing a lot of Junkrat so far from Blue Blitz. I anticipate more of that, and I think you can make Junkrat work on arguably all 3 points of this control map on Li Jiang, especially Control Center, and to a lesser extent on Gardens, and a decent amount of Night Market. So I think it's going to be a bit tough for Doodles if they have to play on Gardens first. You know, they are going to have to hope for a bit of good RNG, have to bless RNG really fast, and they do get Night Market first. So I think that's pretty good here for Doodles, you know, for their Junkrat play. But at the same time, Night Market, it can play into Junkrat, but it also plays into Pharmacy. And I imagine Modify, they're expecting the Junkrat. Bard's probably just going to roll out on the far here and cause a lot of havoc on Night Market. Overall, I think Li Jiang is generally more Pharah favored than it is Junkrat favored. You have Gardens and Night Market, both pretty strong Pharah maps. So it's a bit of a tough one for Doodles here, a bit of a tough ask, but I had full confidence in Modify on King's Row, and I was proven wrong. Doodles, you know, I didn't think they had the advantage there on Kings, but they managed to win it anyway. So maybe they can turn it around here on Li Jiang. Didn't look too hot last map. Maybe they've got you're one map away from being eliminated energy here. Come on, Doodles. Bring it back for me here. I believe in you.
Doodles has got to bring this map to a victory to avoid being eliminated and sent home. Modify on the Symmetra TP strat could work really, really well versus what Doodles is running. Landing Game's gonna have a really tough time into the Symmetra and the McCree, but Doodles just don't care about the Symmetra. They're gonna push in really aggressively, although destroying all the turrets, they're just gonna choose to sit here and poke a little bit at main, where this is where Modify is gonna get a lot of value out of their comp. Macho Pikachu going back to spawn. I'm guessing to switch to Pharah, maybe. Does go ahead and switch to Pharah. Maxwell most likely going to be switching to the Mercy here as well. And now Doodles is looking really good here with this comp.
Yeah, really smart play from Doodles, not even actually taking the fight, not risking giving Modify a lot of ult charge, just going back to spawn and switching to the Pharmacy. And now Macho Pikachu here, he can take an off angle if he decides to and get a lot of damage in. I don't think Heagle will be able to shut him down that effectively if Macho Pikachu dodges effectively.
Dryfarm goes ahead and pushes in a little bit just to destroy the Symmetra TPs, and now Doodles has got the advantage of Pharah on the off angle, applying so much damage to the backline of Modify, excuse me. And Santa takes down Dryfarm though. The Collective comes out from Jofus to keep Modify up. Super Pullover gets booped off the map by nice poop, and Landing Game gonna go ahead and get taken down by the Sim turrets of Bard. Modify with a really scrappy fight there, but they are going to go ahead and win.
Yeah, good fight when therefore Modify being up 50% now on the point with their Sim TP strategy. They have a lot of ultimates online. They only had to use the Coalescence that fight. They're nearing 5. This is looking really good for Modify to win this next fight, but at the same time, a barrage here for Matcha Bingsu. Maybe Modify don't expect it yet, you know? He was only on the far for one fight. An unexpected barrage here could be massive here for Doodles in an attempt to retake the point.
Yeah, it's going to be Super Polar Bear and Heagle's job to shut down that barrage. They're going to be Modify's only hope against all the tools that Doodles have. And the Stim wall does come out. It's going to be really useful for Modify to hide behind. And it's going to be really hard for Machu Bingsu to be able to commit for a barrage here. Whitman goes down. He's going to go to the flank. Kills 2. But 2 pick from Modify as well. A huge barrage and a huge early pick from Machu Bingsu is going to be huge. But there's just so much damage from Modify. Modify with their coordinated team play, just not getting separated, not getting displaced. They don't care that Machu Bingsu had a big barrage. They just apply so much damage to Doodles that there's just nothing you can do with a single ultimate there.
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly there, Chim. Modify's team cohesion is on another level as Doodles are just trying to stall at the point with whatever they can, you know, trickling in one by one, but in all likelihood, Modify is going to control this point here, keep control. They have the Diva Bomb and the Coalescence if they need them, but they don't. They cap the first point, and yeah, you said it perfectly. Modified played that so smart. That Sim Wall from Bard was great because it forced Machu Bingsu to rotate all around. Even if he killed 2 people, it doesn't matter to Modify because their Reinhardt, their Diva, their Sim, they just hard rushed the tanks of Doodles and took them out. So Far getting 2 kills, it doesn't matter because the rest of Doodles' team was dead. So just really smart play from Modify, playing their symmetric comp very effectively and playing it correctly. I was very impressed. Winning 100-0 on Night Market, and this next map they're going to commit to the Sim again. It worked out so well last point. You can't really complain, Chip.
Yeah, I think this is definitely this is probably going to be the best strat Modify has here. They know that it's going to work really well, even though Doodles made that swap onto the Pharmacy, which is known as kind of the hard counter to these Sim TP spots, but he gets taken down super early by Blue Blitz. A 5v6 here on point. Blue Blitz gets taken down though. Now the major sources of damage gone for each team. Bagel Friend's going to go down. That's a lot of sustain gone for the Doodles tanks, as Dry Farm's going to be taken down with no Moira to keep him up. Maxwell falls as well, and Modify's going to be able to take control of this point first.
Yeah, another really good execute of the Symmetric TP from Modify. I'm hoping that we get to see the swap back to Pharmacy here for Doodles, but it seems like they're going to go into the Soldier instead. I think Soldier's actually pretty decent into what Modify are running, but the Reaper, I don't know if it's going to do that much against a McCree and a Diva Chim. It's still a bit of a rough pick, and the Winston Wrecking Ball tank line as well. Okay, good. Off the... Good move there from Whitman, taking out laning game. But Blue Blitz now swapping over to the Junkrat. I think that's much better than the Reaper pick here, giving a bit more range to the composition of Doodles. They have the chance to spam out Instante's shield a bit more and maybe get a kill after it breaks. But at the same time, Modify have looked so good when they can get the point here with the Sim, just like they did on last point. I think it's going to be tough for Doodles to recontest.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough for them to push in. Whitman with a huge double boop. 3 boops on Gardens alone. Whitman with a great performance here on Lucio, already to that beat, 10% from it. And Doodles is going to have to reset again, but as I was saying, you said it perfectly. Doodles is going to have a really tough time recontesting, and they have got to do this. This is their last chance of being able to pull the series back and making it to Grand Finals, or else they're going to be eliminated if they don't win this point.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Doodles are staggering a bit here, Chimanzi. I'm not entirely sure what they're going for here.
Yeah, Blending Game committing the minefield just to get a little bit of tempo here in this fight. Super Polar falls extremely low, but it is going to be able to get healed up by Jofus. And so many ults online for Modify, and you've got absolutely nothing for Doodles. And we're already in last fight territory, and Doodles don't have a single ult on the board after just using that minefield. The slam does go out from Instante, but it is blocked with a nice Winston bubble and a nice pile drive from Blending Game. Another boop from Whitman, his 4th boop this map. Machu Bingsu gets found off. Blending Game goes down. Bard finds another 3 picks from Modify. It's looking so good here as Doodles' dreams are being crushed. Dry Farm with the Primal Rage trying to save this fight. Super Polar does get demeched, but the Baby Diva is going to take down Blue Blitz, and it's just a couple members of Doodles left here on this point. The B comes out for Whitman to keep Modify up. and it's looking so good for Modify still. Just a long stall here for Doodles, as the Diva Bomb is available as a tool. Whitman goes down, Bard as well, and this is looking super winnable for Doodles. Another pick. Super Clover is taken down Instante as well, and Doodles is finally going to be able to recontest and take this point after just narrowly managing to win that fight.
And not quite over, says Doodles, as they reflip the point there, and they have a few ultimates to try to hold on, but long term this is going to be so difficult for them. But the one thing that they actually have working for them is that Modify are committing to staying to the symmetric TP. If Bard doesn't get effective value out of his sim wall this next fight, then it's going to be really rough for Modify.
Yeah, Jofus finding himself in the water already, and wow, that was a really fast team wipe there. Super Clover using that bomb just to try to stay alive a little longer, but yeah, Modify going into that fight 5v6. Every other member got instantly melted out of that sim TP. Bard is going to make the swap onto the Reaper though.
Yeah, I definitely think that's good for Modify. Getting off the Symmetra, even though he was 90% to wall, that is not going to really do you much good here. But now, Doodles, they have a chance. They already have 42%. We're looking at maybe 2 or 3 fights here for Modify. I think this is actually really good that Matcha Bingsu is poking them out here, preventing the fight from happening fast. Doodles, the more that they wind this clock down for Modify as they accumulate this percentage on the point, it's actually really good for them. And they have a lot of ultimates this next fight.
Yeah, Hugo, with that 100 available, does choose to pop it early in the fight. Whitman taken down, and now Modify's down in this fight. They want to get out really fast. They do not want to stagger here, moving into last fight territory. And they're just going to have one more attempt at this point, and maybe a little stall fight after that.
This is actually really good aggression from Doodles here, Chim, as they secure 4 more kills, getting some of that ult charge that they lost by using 3 ultimates that fight, building that a little bit back up, and now this is last fight territory. Doodles did manage to get it down to 2 fights, and now there's only 1 remaining, and they have a Pulse Bomb online, and a Primal Rage, and a Dream Ball. Modified, they have some decent tools. The Shatter is going to be very key here. Instante's looked absolutely amazing so far on the Reinhardt. We'll see if he can hit a big Shatter to close out the series.
Modify speeding the point, but the Primal Rage from Dry Farm boops them all off. No chance for Modify to touch that point. And Doodles looking so bad early on in this round with a great comeback there, great ult rotations, a really nice Primal Rage there at the end to keep Modify off. Now 1-1 in Lijiang Tower. This is an extremely high stakes point here for Doodles. They need to win this point to stay alive in the series and the playoffs. Modify really need to win this as well if they want to get momentum and win the series. Losing this for Modify could definitely bring Doodles to great success later on in the series.
Oh yeah, it definitely could, and I like that Doodles are sticking to their guns here. Maybe it's not the best composition, maybe it's not meta for this point, playing the Winston Ball, but they can make it work. They made Ball work on Kingsborough, they can make it work here on Lijiang Control Center. Lane and game on the Wrecking Balls look great so far, and Doodles, they're playing to their strengths, they're playing this Winston Ball composition. I think this is going to work out well for them here.
Modify is speeding onto this point, Blading game with a big pile drive, already 40% to that ult. Jofus goes down really early, and that's a lot of heals gone. Just the Brigitte heals available for the side of Modify. Whitman goes down as well, and that's all the heals gone. Modify is going to have to get out of this fight quickly.
Yeah, great first fight here for Doodles. A fight that they did not manage to win on the last 2 points. They win it now here on Control Center with their Winston Ball. Bard is switching over to the Pharmacy, something that I kind of hoped that he would do on the other 2 points, or at least on the last point. But he switches over to the Pharmacy now on Control Center. There are almost 0 tools for Doodles to contest him, so I can kind of understand this pick, but I think it's going to be a bit of an awkward point, a bit of an awkward switch. Oh, sorry, short pause there.
Yeah, just a little pause here. Not exactly sure what's going on. Probably just some lag issues. Yeah, a player from Doodles is having some issues. Should be back shortly. Just like a short little Hanamura pause. But yeah, looking at this, I mean, I think the Pharah switch could definitely be really good here. Looking at what Doodles is running, I mean, Pharah obviously is known to counter Junkrat, but you just don't have really anything to contest the Pharah. I mean, Matcha Bingsu on the Tracer can kind of poke Bard out. Blading game maybe poke him out a bit, but we've got the Moira and the Lucio. The Moira, I mean, you can right click the Pharah, but that's not really the optimal thing to do as Moira. And yeah, you've got the Lucio as well. Without the Zenyatta, you don't have any Discord Orb to focus on. Maybe if you had that, it'd be easier to poke him out. But I think Bar's gonna find a ton of value here on this Pharah.
Yeah, I definitely think he can find a lot of value early, but I'm more worried about if Modify get point control. I think the Pharmacy is going to get significantly less value than their push to recontest right here.
Yeah, going back into this match, Bar with a really aggressive off angle here. This is really pretty much optimal for Pharah. Blue Blitz goes down instantly. Bar finding immediate value. Laning game falls extremely low as well, using that adaptive shield, but now both teams are trading DPS picks, and now Modify is just so displaced and just caught out into the open by this crazy comp that Doodles are running, but the team cohesion is too much. They ignore Blading Game and Machu Bingsu, and they just push up. The minefield goes out to try to save the fight, but Modify is looking really good. The Pulse Bomb comes out as well, doesn't catch anything, and Sante goes down, but suddenly looking winnable for the side of Doodles. Blading Game extremely low, 1 HP, more picks found for the side of Modify. Now it's a 4v3 on point. The Winston and the supports for the side of Doodles, he go with the high note available, but I'm not sure if you will need it unless Modify just continues to fail to get these remaining picks.
Yeah, I very much doubt that Doodles have a chance here in this fight. They are investing in ultimates though. Maybe they'll put me wrong with a big tire from Blue Blitz turning it around.
Huge tire takes down Bard and Eagle, and now Modify is in one last fight territory. 5 ultimates here for the side of Modify, a couple on the side of Doodles. Modify has to win this fight.
Yeah, Modify have to win this fight, like you said, but they have a lot of tools to do so. And with Blading Game down, Doodles have to back up. There's probably not going to be another situation where Modify fails to contest here like they did on the last point. At least hopefully not for their sake, because they have a lot of ultimates to win this fight.
Quilliton coming in from Joe Fist to allow Modify aggressively. Bard with the BT Pharah Barrage gets just Dante with a big shatter too. The Primal Rage coming out from Drive Farm just to try to stall the point. Many picks from the DPS duo of Modify coming out here. A nice Valkyrie as well to allow Modify to win. And I mean, Modify used so many ultimates, so is this really a worthy fight win?
Yeah, I really don't think it is, Jim. I think it's actually very bad for Modify. You know, they did reflip the point. They're not out of this map yet, but Doodles, they are looking to make Modify out of this map. They have the Minefield, which has provided so much value for them so far, the Pulse Bomb and the Coalescence for this fight.
Eagle falls early, that's really bad for Modifying. The Minefield is going to deny the Resurrection from Whitman, and Sante goes down as well. Blue Blitz falls to Bard though, and 5 picks. It's over. It should be over here from Modify. A team kill coming out here from Doodles. Nothing for the last stall contest on the side of Ultimates, but they don't need it because Modify can't touch. A beautiful, beautiful map coming out from Doodles, making the series 3-2, and Doodles are going to stay alive here in this playoff match.
I'd like to say this was an absolutely legendary comeback on this map from Doodles. They lost point 1, 100-0. They were down 99-0 on point 2. At that point, I'm going to be honest, Jim, I kind of wrote this off as a modified 4-1. But Doodles, they flipped the point, despite having almost 0 ultimates on point 2 here on Gardens. And then they hold the point for 100%, and Modify doesn't even get to touch for the very last fight, and they had a huge ultimate advantage. And then Doodles almost 100. Oh, the third point. I thought it was over, Jim. I thought it was over. I thought Doodles were done. But they are fighting back, and they are fighting back hard, just like they did on King's Row on that last map. But I think this next map, you know, I thought Lijiang was going to be a tough ask for Doodles. I think this next map is going to be an even tougher ask because Modified, they have map pick again. They have won, I believe, 3 of their 4 map picks so far. They've won map 1. They've won Rialto. Sorry, maybe only 2. But at the same time, Modified, they've looked so strong when they have had map pick, and they have map pick here as we are heading into Hybrid, and we get to see Eichenwald picked for Modify. You know, they picked Rialto earlier because it played in the Pharmacy. I'm thinking we're seeing kind of a similar tale here for why they picked Eichenwald, Chim.
Yeah, Modify, they, as you were saying, it looked incredibly dominant on the first half of Lijiang, and Doodles with the ultimate comeback there. Moving on to Hybrid, the first Hybrid map was King's Row, which Doodles ended up, they did pick and they ended up winning. It was very, very close map, but Hybrid is where Doodles comps, their wacky comps, where they basically just play whatever they want, that Modify is just struggling into. that's where they pretty much just succeed. You've got so many different areas on hybrid. You've got the first point of Eichenwald and King's Row and New Bonnie, which is super short range. You know, brawl characters typically exceed on those points, and then you've got long range on second, third points of those maps where you know snipers can be good, dive can be good. You've just got so many choices, and I think it just plays to the strengths of Doodles.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I think Doodles have a pretty good chance. I think Wrecking Ball, you know, seems like Doodles' signature pick so far when they're winning in this series, and they can get a lot of value here on Eichenwald. But I think this, I have a feeling, Chim. I have a premonition that this next map, it's going to be super close. I think, and I think that's going to be an accurate premonition. I have faith in my premonition. I think that Doodles are going to win it, Chim. I want to see map 7.
Yeah, we're looking. Doodles are looking really good here. I mean, it's their map. Sorry, not their map pick. They won this map type last time, and they need to win this to keep themselves alive in the playoffs. So I think that Doodles are going to give it their all. I think Blading Game is going to step up again on this Wrecking Ball, and Doodles are just looking really good. Modify, I think that they've got such good players. Instante has looked so good in this Reinhardt all season. Absolute menace on the Reinhardt. But he just struggles so much into the comps that Doodles are running because they just choose not to play Reinhardt. It's really hard to be an alpha Reinhardt when there's no enemy Reinhardt. So I think that Doodles are doing a really good job in that sense of denying Instante his best chance of carrying Modify. And yeah, I think that that's pretty much what Doodles have to do, is just stick to their guns and keep running these non-Reinhardt comps.
Yep, I completely agree. I think that's actually a really, really good point, because Instante was looking, no offense to Blading Game, Instante was looking much better on the Reinhardt than Blading Game was. But ever since Blading Game swapped to that Wrecking Ball, Doodles have had more and more of a fighting chance. You know, Instante, it appears that he's just getting poked out. It's really difficult to play Reinhardt into what Doodles are playing, the absolute raw chaos. You know, pretty much the only thing you can swing on is the Winston that Doodles have been running a lot. So you're not going to get a whole lot of value there. But now we get to see this composition from Modify. I think these are some smart swaps. This is composition similar to what they were playing earlier. If they play, they have 3 stuns now. They have May's Primary Fire, M1 Funny, they have Brigitte's Bash, and they have McCree's Flashbang. It's going to be really difficult for Blading Game to find value here on the Wrecking Ball, but he has so far, even with, you know, sometimes with Bard on the Spay, even sometimes with Whitman on the Brigitte, so maybe he can still pull it off. I think he can still pull it off. This composition from Doodles has a lot of sustain, a lot of damage, and a lot of mobility. It's really strong, and I think they can pull it off here.
Yeah, this comp is going to be exponentially harder for Blading Game to play into, but I mean, where there's a will, there is a way. So I think that he can still definitely find value on this Wrecking Ball, as he does get poked out really hard early. But just so much space being given up here by Modify. Machi Bingsu is forced out to use the recall early, but they're just doing so much poke damage, and Whitman taken down early. It's a lot of sustain gone, as well as the Immortality Cure from Jofus coming out early. It's immediately destroyed. Hiko and Bard both taken down. Machi Bingsu with a great first fight here, finding 2 picks onto both DPS and Modify. Super Polar Bird is going to be demeched, and that first fight is going to go to Doodles.
Yeah, it appears that Modify just committed too many resources there to trying to shut down Blading Game, and you know, they just forgot about Machi Bingsu and Blue Blitz. They absolutely shredded through Modify in that fight. That was absolutely amazing from the Doodles DPS. And now we get to see some swaps here, going onto Pharmacy here for Modify, trying to punish the fact that there's no hit scan on the side. Ooh, nice kill there from Peagle on the side of Doodles. I think this could be really good, especially on the second point. Pharmacy probably going to provide a lot of value here for Modify, but if Doodles can eventually manage to win some fights here against the Pharmacy, third point's going to be really rough for Modify.
Yeah, Modify has got to hold Doodles here. Dry Farm goes down early to the hammer of Instante, who now is almost at this Earthshatter, but as mentioned before, it's just really hard for him to swing and get value. The Pulse Bomb comes out as well as the Mind, but the 4K tire from Blue Blitz showing absolute dominance on this Junkrat. He says forget the Pharah, and he gets 4, making it 5 that fight. What a fight from Blue Blitz.
That's amazing, and that's so good for Doodles going forward. As Bard, he's still on the Pharmacy here, but it's going to be tough for him to even get out of his spawn as Blue Blitz looks for the kill, but maybe Blue Blitz committing a bit too much here is going to die.
Yeah, a little bit of a hard commit. Maybe hoping to get a pick and maybe, you know, throw the Total Mayhem Mines. A nice stun there, though, from Heagle is going to take Blending Game out of the pile drive, but the beat comes out to keep Doodles up. A nice beat from Maxwell to basically push the tempo. Dry Farm with the prime range to keep himself alive. He falls extremely low. Blending Game falls as well. Immortality Field forced out. Insante so low, but he is healed up. Modify with 2 picks, but it's not over for Doodles. Bard falls, and Whitman is going to have to get this res if Modify hopes to keep this tempo and 100% win this fight, which he does get the res off.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about Doodles investing there. They definitely used their ultimates effectively, but it wasn't enough for them to win once they were down Blue Blitz, you know. They didn't have much damage left. Their Junkrat has provided so much value for them so far. But now we can see Maxwell. He's swapping off the Lucio, going onto the Batiste. I like the switch here. Matcha Bingsu swap to the McCree as well to help counter Bard a bit more. He's receiving significantly more pressure. These are some swaps that we've seen before for Doodles, and they've worked really well.
Yeah, Blue Blitz on the flank. A huge flank for Blue Blitz. Jope is taking down a beautiful flank and a beautiful mid-air kill. It's going to put them up even in the fight now. Blue Blitz does fall apart, though. Jopis is res. But Doodles, honestly, not a bad fight. They forced out the remake bomb, and that's honestly any ult wasted from Modify is a very good win for Doodles.
Yeah, it definitely is. We're going to see some good ultimates online here for Doodles. They have the Riptire, which just the previous Riptire got 4 kills. I expect this one to get a lot of kills too, Chip.
Yeah, Blending Game committing hard, but Bard with the barrage finds one. A really nice DM from Super Polar Bird is going to protect him from that high noon of Matcha Bingsu. And Doodles, once again, going to be forced to reset.
Yeah, they are, but there aren't that many tools left in Modify's bank. They've had to use quite a few in the past few fights, and Maxwell swapping back over to the Lucio. Maybe Doodles looking to take a fast fight here, knowing that they have the ultimate advantage, going back to the heroes they were originally on. Maybe they're looking to go in really fast here with their Minefield and their Riptire. That could be really good.
Blending Game with the pile drive going in, and still with a Minefield available. Maybe a mine behind the Modify front line on the high ground would be big. Blue Blitz is taken down though by Bard. A really nice early pick there. Heagle on the flank, almost takes down Bagel Friend. Some nice shots there. Super Wolver is the mech though, so it's an even 5v5 here as he is taken down in Baby Diva form. Both still available for both teams. Bagel Friend launches the Coalescence out, so Doodles is able to push aggressively. Heagle falls as well into an unfortunate place. Blending Game looking to use this minefield here into the backline of Modify. Does decide to pop it with a nice pile drive as well. Bard taken down midair by Blue Blitz's Riptire, and Doodles is looking really good here. Hoping to capture this 3rd point. Jofus falls extremely low. Without that Immortality Field, he might be in trouble here as Bard does get resurrected. A huge res from Widmitten. And Heagle does pop the high noon. A big shadow from Insante. Takes down 4 members of Doodles. And in Modify with a beautiful fight through in there. Looking very, very desperate. About to lose the fight. They do pull it back.
Yeah, very, very crucial fight when they're for Modify. These last few kills don't really matter much for Doodles. Modify have now been holding for 4 minutes on the clock on 2nd point. Really good hold for them. Now we're going to see desperation swaps coming out from Doodles, trying to come up with some plan of how to beat what Modify is running. They decide to go to the Reinhardt and the Reaper. Blending Game on the Reinhardt. Insante, no offense to Blending Game, looked better earlier on in this series. I don't like that Doodles are going back to the Reinhardt out of desperation, but maybe they can make it work here. They almost have a sound barrier online, but there are so many ultimates for on the side of Modify, and this is pretty much going to be last fight here, Chip.
This is last fight territory here. Doodles may not even get a chance to stall the point if they lose this fight. The barrage comes out early. Blue Blitz taking down. Amplification Matrix doing so much from Modify, but it's two picks for Doodles in return. Maxwell taking extremely low, and it's still a completely even fight. 4v4 now with the beat online. Could be a fight changer. He does get it off, but not before Machu Bingsu is taken down. Pullover does have this, Diva Bomb available. Almost demeched here. Is going to get demeched, but is able to use the remake bomb. It's looking really, really bad for Doodles here as Maxwell is taken down. And Doodles is going to have to go for a last hope touch.
Yeah, it appears that Doodles are going to be denied here. Again, just trying to stagger onto the point, but it's not, sorry, Blaming Game there, booped away at the very end, could not continue the stall for Doodles. What a great hold there from Modify. 5 minutes on 2nd point, only losing, I believe, 1 or 2 fights there. Out of 5 minutes, that's really good. They had to have won some of those fights that they probably shouldn't have won, and whoa, that was really good there from Modify, but at the same time, Doodles, this isn't a map that I would say favor them. Just like a lot of these maps, honestly, because I don't think Junkrat is that good of a pick right now, and that's Doodles' specialty. But at the same time, Doodles, that was like a really good push for them for not being their best map. So I'm liking their chance on the defense here, as they are going to be sticking to their guns. They're sticking to what they played on their attack, what worked for them pretty well on Lijiang Control Center as well, the Tracer Junkrat dive. A bit unorthodox perhaps, but it's what Doodles have decided to go with for presumably the rest of the series, however long it may last. I assume it's their comfort picks. Blading Game looking really good on that Wrecking Ball, Blue Blitz on the Junkrat, and of course the rest of the team looking really good on their rolls as well. If we get to see Bard getting shut down here on the Pharah, if he needs to swap or anything like that, I think that's where you have to say it's GG for this map for Doodles. They probably win it if they can force Bard off Pharah here. But that's going to be a tough ask. They have no hit scan, they have no Zenyatta or Batiste to pressure out Bard. We're going to have to see some good coalescences from Bagel Friend, and maybe some good poke from Matcha Bingsu and Blading Game. Bard needs to receive some pressure here on the Pharah.
Yeah, but I mean, looking at the modified comp, we see the same thing they played on their King's Row attack. And this is the comp that Blading Game got infinite value into. Modify has 0 stuns, 0 crowd control to deal with the ball. But he is going to be finished off by Jopus, as I do praise his ball gameplay there. But 2 picks early for Modify, make it 3, is going to allow them to push on to this first point, and probably cap this fairly easily. Already building 60% of that barrage, 60% of that shatter, and already with the amplification matrix online for Jopus.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing a massive time bank here for Modify, as they almost always... sorry. Whew. English is difficult for me, Chim. I'm kind of dumb. But they cap first point... yeah, that's just me, But Modify do cap first point. They have 5 minutes. This 5 minutes, that's how much time that Doodles had on their attack. So 5 minutes hold, 5 minute holds, they're definitely possible. Modify showed that on their defense. We might be able to see it here, but the McCree's already taken down 4 Doodles. They're not going to be able to get the high ground back after losing this little fight here. It's going to be really difficult for them to come back into this fight, but we've seen Doodles come back from the brink of defeat on the last map. Maybe they can do it again here, Chim. My premonition said that this map would be close, and it appears that Modify, they don't want to make this close, but Doodles, they might.
You've got so many ults online here for Modify, almost 6. Doodles have got to pull out a miracle if they want to win this next fight versus 6 ultimates. They need a miracle tire, or not that, as Bard gets 2 with the barrage, almost takes down Drive Farm as well with the Pharah Boop. Does pick him off, and Modify's looking so good here. Blue Blitz needs to live with this tire. That is their only miracle hope here to win this fight. They need to get that immortality field out. The bomb comes out. The immortality field doesn't come out, or it actually does find Bagel Friend. Jopus' immortality field blocks all the damage from the tire, but Blading Game is doing a great job of stalling this point. 4 picks for Modify. It's just the ball left of the point for Doodles, and there's no chance for Doodles to win this fight. Modify is going to steamroll their way through Eichenwald, taking the map, winning the series 4-1, crushing, sorry, 4-2, crushing Doodles' hopes of making it to Grand Finals, and the defending champions will continue on next week to the Harmony Grand Finals.
Maybe my premonition wasn't too accurate there, Chim. Doodles kind of got dominated there by Modify. All love to Doodles. This team had a really good run in playoffs, upsetting the #1 seed, but was not enough. Taken out by the defending champions in Modify. Modify looked so good when they were winning these maps, Chim. The first 2 maps looked so dominant, as well as, I believe... I'm forgetting the 3rd map that Modify won in there, I'm going to be honest. But that Eichenwald was so good there for Modify. It was just really, really clean team play. Despite playing the composition that you mentioned, did not work out too well for them on King's Row. They brought it back on Eichenwald, and they shut down Blame effectively on the ball. Couldn't do enough, and Doodles were unfortunately for Doodles. Doodles, unfortunately for Doodles, are taken out. Man, my English is really bad, Shim.
Yeah, it was a very close series. Doodles surprised me, honestly. They pulled out Lijiang, they pulled out King's Row. I mean, they showed that they're definitely not a bad team at all. They made a really, really good run here in these playoffs. But Modify, the defending champions, hoping to get the back-to-back. They've just got so much talent. And I mean, speaking of talent, who is your match MVP, Needle, for the side of Modify?
Poof, I think it's really tough. I think a lot of modified players had a really good performance, but while his name is partially evading me here, the Diva for Modify provided a lot of value on most of the maps that they were winning there. Super Polar Bear looked really good when he was on the Diva. I saw him get some good assassination kills, some good defense matrices as well. I was pretty impressed with his play.
Yeah, Super Polar Bear, definitely an underrated name, new to the Modified team this season. Had a great performance there on Diva. And I mean, I agree with you. Super Polar Bear had a really good game. My match MVP, I think it's really close, really hard to decide. They both had a really good performance. It's between Whitman and Bard for me. Both of them had a really great performance here in this series. Bard on the Pharah did really well. Bard even on Widow, on Rialto, and of course on the Reaper as well. Did a great job of applying so much damage to the tank line of Doodles. And Whitman kind of solo-handedly stopped a lot of Doodles' pushes as Brig. He had a great performance on that hero, as well as doing a great job on the Mercy as well. Some huge resurrections. But yeah, I think Modify, their pure cohesion and teamwork was just too much for Doodles to handle.
Yeah, it definitely was. And don't forget about Whitman's performance on Lucio, on Gardens as well. I believe we got 4 environmental kills on that point of control. Really good player for Modify. All of Modify's players looking really good in this series. Some of Doodles' players as well. Unfortunately, they are eliminated, though. Modify, as you mentioned earlier, they are going to the grand final against Flashbacks, which will be next week.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to the Overwatch Tranquility Harmony Aurum Finals, where we saw the defending champions Modify taking the win 4-2 and moving on to the grand finals. They will be facing off against the Flashbacks next Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. EST. Be sure to catch that great grand finals match as well as the Discord tier grand finals next Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. EST on the Overwatch Tranquility Twitch channel, which will be between the Heckin' Habaneros and Exodus. Along with that, be sure to catch the Transcendence Tier End of Season Award Winners podcast tomorrow night, premiering at 8:30 p.m. EST on the Overwatch Tranquility YouTube channel, and the Harmony Tier End of Season Award Winners podcast the following night, this Friday at 8:30 p.m. Finally, be sure to catch the final podcast of Season 5, which will be Monday, November 9th, when all-star teams will be drafted. My name is Chimanzi, and I've been your play-by-play caster for tonight, alongside Needle on Analysis and Booth on Production. On behalf of all of us, thank you everyone for being here, and we hope to see you again soon.
took the step? Was I moved by lust? Was I moved by faith? The truth has a way of finding the light or changing in time. Did I fall in love? Did I make it up inside my mind? In secret, babe.